Hi there, and welcome to the New York School of Design's Intro to Digital Design. My name is Vidal Cyperly Valencia, and I'm a fashion designer here in New York City. Now, making brushes is not that complicated. I'm going to show you how to make 3 in this lesson. I'm going to show you how to do a double needle top stitch, a zipper, and I'm also going to show you how to do a ruffle. So the double needle top stitch is arguably the easiest. I'm going to just move that, and I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to turn them into a dashed line like we've done before. So I've just clicked the stroke panel up here. I'm going to click dashed line. I'm going to do 3 and 1.5, and I'm going to make this a quarter. So it's a quarter of a point. You have something like this. Now, it is very straightforward to make a brush in that you're going to open up your brush window. If you don't have it open, you can go up here to Window, Brushes, and that will bring this up here, which this has every brush I've made so far, so you'll see when I add a new one. But yours may be more empty. It may have a few defaults in there. And you're just going to select the object, so in this case, these 2, and you can click plus, or you can just drag these 2 into the brush window. It's going to pop this window up. It's going to say, do you want this to be a scatter, art, bristle, calligraphic, pattern brush? In general, for all of these, we want them to be a pattern brush. These other ones have different purposes in terms of how they look. It's more illustrative and more creative. In this sense, because we're using it for flat sketching, we're just going to click pattern brush, and it's going to repeat it as a pattern. So we click OK, and it's going to bring this menu up for you. So there's a few principles in here that I will explain. In general, this is your name of your brush. The scale is going to be, we're going to keep it on fixed. Some of these different options can mean pressure. If you're working with a Wacom tablet and you press really hard, it's going to change how it looks. But for now, we're going to just keep it at fixed. Spacing we're going to keep as it is. We're going to keep all of these settings as they are for now. Fit, we're going to do stretch to fit. If you do add space to fit, you'll see it makes it disjointed because as it's following whatever your path is, it's going to add space to fit whatever it is that I've created into that. So we're just going to keep it stretch to fit. We're going to keep everything pretty much the same as it is for the default. We're not going to play too much with these settings here. We click OK, and it's going to put it at the bottom of my brush panel here. So now if I were to just make a line, and I click this brush, it is now my double needle top stitch. And so now, instead of having to create 2 rows of top stitching to illustrate my double needle top stitch, I could just draw one path or copy my hem, apply this brush, and then you're good to go. So that is one super usable and functional brush that I use quite a lot. Another is the zipper. And so with the zipper, you want to start by taking your shape. Just trace one tooth from this image. So you can see these look functionally the same. I've just used the pen tool and I've just created this shape that I'm going to be then repeating to make my zipper teeth brush. So when you're creating a brush, it's important to remember that it's basically repeating whatever the selection of what you made over and over and over again. So basically, if I were just to take my zipper tooth like this, it's going to repeat this. It's going to iterate this over and over again if I just drag this in. Oops. So if I were to just drag this in over here and I click pattern brush, it's going to, as you can see when I do an example of this, it's going to butt them all next to each other really, really close. And that's not really what zipper teeth look like when they're unzipped. So this is a case where we have to create what we call a secret square. And a secret square is basically just a rectangle or a shape that hides behind your object and has no fill and no stroke and is included when you make the brush. So the reason for this is to create that buffer of space in between the zipper teeth in this case. So I'm going to take away my fill and I'm going to take away my stroke on my rectangle. I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to click new, pattern brush, and you'll see now that when I confirm that and I draw a line, it is now spaced out. And so instead of being like this, all butted up next to each other, this looks more realistic to what zipper teeth should look like. Now, when we make the actual closed zipper teeth, you'll see that I've taken this shape and I've just overlapped it over each other so it looks like it should when it will repeat. I've placed my secret square back here. I'm going to you'll see that it's about halfway over this one and halfway over this one. That's because it's going to repeat at that point, okay? So I'm gonna take away my stroke, I'm gonna take away my fill, I'm going to select all of these, I'm gonna click the plus button here, pattern brush, okay, I'm just gonna confirm. And then if I take this same path here that had this line, you'll see when I apply this, it is now the closed zipper teeth. So when you're applying this, you can take something like, let's say you have, this is your drawing. If I select this path, which goes from here to here, I can copy it. I'm just doing Command C, can paste it, Command V. I can apply my zipper teeth. You can see it's a little big, so I'm gonna adjust it to maybe like a quarter. I'm gonna take away the fill. And now I have my zipper teeth. I can clone this, and I can just do transform reflect in order to flip it the other way. You'll see that when you flip brushes, this can be kind of confusing, but it does not always flip the characteristic of the brush. And so you can click this menu here, which is option of selected brushes. And so if we have preview on, I can just click flip along or flip across, and you'll see that that will correct that for me. So now I'll move this over here to look how I want. I want my zipper pull to be in the front, of course. And then when I do a little line for my closed zipper teeth, I'm gonna make it match the size, which is a quarter. And I'm gonna bring my pull back to the front. And so now you have something like a zipper. You could add a line if you want to indicate the tape. You would just be adding, again, a small line to the bottom. And then you'd be lining that up with your secret square and stuff. And then when you create this, it will just have a straight line along the edge here. You could add a tape. It's all up to you. It depends on what you want your zipper brush to look like. But functionally, this is the easiest way to demonstrate how to create one.